All right, everybody, and welcome to the AquaGoat Education Seminars Part 5. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Marielle here along with Janelle, and today we have a fully packed seminar for you guys, tons of information. I'll be talking about how to use BSC Scan. Janelle will be talking about what is acidification in the oceans, and Marielle, what is our animal of the week this week?
Our animal of the week is the Dumbo Octopus.
Dumbo Octopus. So, like I said, it's going to be a super interesting seminar as always. And so we are just going to jump right in. I'm going to get on to how to use BSC Scan. All right, so you're probably wondering, what is BSC Scan? So BSC Scan is a blockchain explorer for the Binance Smart Chain. A blockchain explorer is basically an organized database which gathers and presents information from the blockchain in a searchable format. So BSC Scan allows you to look up things such as token information, smart contracts, wallet addresses, and transaction and block information. So we're actually just going to move right on over to the website, and I'll show you a few things of how we can navigate that. All right, everybody, and here we are on the BSC Scan, the Binance Smart Chain Explorer. So this website is pretty cool. I personally love to use it all the time. Here we just have our little search bar. You can search by address, transaction hash, block, and token. You can even search throughout the blockchain here, check the validators, different tokens, and etc. You have your live BNB price. We have your live BNB price here. You can see the market cap on the smart chain of all the BNB that's in circulation on the smart chain. You can even see the latest block that's been verified, how many validators there are. Again, all the latest blocks by their block number here and the latest transactions that are available here. If you really wanted to, you can go ahead and actually click through into the blocks and see every transaction that's here, and you can really just research everything. So I'm just going to go over a few things that we can check out here. So like I said, you can definitely check out anything like token addresses. You can go by their smart contract. So we're just going to search AquaGoat. What's nice is that if you search up the token name, typically the official one will show up. And if you didn't have the token name, you just had the contract address, you can even just copy and paste that in there. And then it'll come up as like an address. Technically, the contract itself is just an address, but you can even find it as a token. So what's nice about BSC scans, you get to actually find a lot of useful information. You can find the total supply. You can find the holder number, how many transfers there's been in its lifetime. You can also find the contract address, the official social channels that are here. What I like to see here is also the transfers. So you actually get a real-time updated record of all the transactions that are available using this token. You can even also go into the holders and you can see all of the holders. They typically display the top 1,000. The first page is all the whales or the biggest holders. You can even get a token holders chart, which will actually break down all of the holders on a pie chart. So you'll have, for us at least, you will have, the Burn wallet followed by the Pancake Swap deployer, and then whale. We got all the big goats that are basically here on this pie chart, and you can even do it to top 250, top 500. You can do top 3, and etc. So like I said, you can verify anything like transactions, wallet address, holder numbers, and etc. So I mean, let's just dive right into a transaction here. Maybe let's try this one right here. All right. So here we are. We have this transaction hash. We have the transaction hash up here. Think of that as like your unique receipt. You can actually copy and paste this transaction hash, and you'd be able to come up with all this information. So you'd be able to see the status of the transaction. You might see something like maybe in progress. Sometimes it'll be a failure. Luckily, this one was a success. You'll also be able to see what block the transaction was a part of and how many blocks afterwards came after this transaction. You can even find when this transaction was actually processed. You can find the wallet address that actually made this transaction happen and the contract that it interacts with. So here we can see the tokens transferred, or what kind of happens during this transaction. So what we can see here is we have somebody that bought about 0.028, let's call it 0.03 BNB, and they use 0.03 BNB to buy about 27 billion AquaGoat. You can even see the value of their transaction. You can even see their transaction fee or how much gas they spent. If you want to click more, you can even see how much gas they spent and the percentage of gas that was used up in that transaction, and just a bit more information here. I personally don't know what this is all about, but like I said, you can find as much information as you want on the Binance smart chain. All right, so like I said, you can find tons of information that's available here. Now, that's just for this specific token page. Now, you can actually even go into the contract page and you can see everything that's being deposited here. So unfortunately, some people do have the mishap of sending tokens or sending BNB or USDT over to this contract address. People come to us saying, hey, can you guys release it? And unfortunately not. Most tokens that you'll be dealing with, they have a renounced contract. So any funds that are actually here, they will not be able to be redeemed, but you can definitely see anything that's going on here. So like I said, again, you have all the transactions here and it's really cool. You can just, find the real-time transactions that are available. You even see our Hotbit wallet here that's loading up on extra AquaGoat to fill up their liquidity. You can see the BEP20 token transactions. So, I mean, we've been getting dusted, honestly, tons of these fake tokens that are getting transferred in. But, what's nice is the transparency. You can always find any information that you want to see here. What I like about the contract page is that you can even see the actual contract code. And so, we have our kind of initial paragraph for AquaGoat, and it's actually hidden here inside of the contract itself. So I really like to see it. Kind of throws memories back to me. But if you ever wanted to take a look at the actual coding of a contract, you can always come here to the actual contract page. So we've gone over holders, we've gone over all of the things that you can find on the token page, we've gone over what you can find on a transaction hash. Now we're just gonna do a little bit of clicking around. So like I said, you can go into the blocks, you can find all the transactions that are available in the blocks. You can even just randomly click into these latest transactions. So, I mean, we can see here, doesn't really say much. I mean, tons of transactions, tons of different transactions that are always going on. You can even go onto the blockchain and figure out the top wallets or top accounts. So here we have, let's check this out. Who's the top wallet that holds about 8 million BNB, right? I mean, unfortunately, it's the blockchain. You don't know the actual name, but you get to see at least their wallet address and everything that they are doing. So that's why I like to use BSC Scan. Honestly, like I said, tons of information that's available here. I personally like to use it as my personal tool to be able to look at all the wallet addresses, all the information, all the transactions that are going on through the tokens and everything else that's going on the blockchain. What I really like about the blockchain is just the full transparency, and BSC Scan really allows you to really navigate through all the information that's available. And again, provide you with full transparency, all the information that's relevant and necessary to be able to, kind of do a little bit of problem deduction and just investigation if you were ever curious. So that's about it. Thank you so much for listening to this little spiel about BSC Scan, and we're going to move it over to Janelle, who's going to talk about acidification in the oceans.
Hey, everybody. So what is ocean acidification? So if you take a look at this picture, what do you think it is just by looking? Well, let's talk about it. Acidification in our ocean is basically our ocean absorbing excess CO2 or carbon dioxide when we burn fossil fuels to power cars and create electricity. This excess CO2 increases acidity in our oceans on a global scale. So the ocean kind of acts like a sponge, and as we release CO2 or carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, the ocean just completely soaks it up, any excess. So the CO2 is produced when using electricity, driving cars, and other industrial activities. The ocean absorbs the CO2, which mixes with water and increases the acidity of the water. Carbonate, used by coral and shellfish to build their hard exteriors, becomes scarce when ocean acidity increases. Because many reef animals rely on coral for food and shelter, changing ocean chemistry can affect the entire coral reef system. So if you love crabs or lobsters or shellfish, any of those things, coral reefs, they're all affected by acidification. We as humans are deeply connected to our ocean, whether we realize it or not. And our ocean regulates climate like the heart regulates blood flow in our bodies. Humidity, rain, and temperature are all controlled by our ocean. Burning fossil fuels adds excess heat and carbon dioxide that disrupt the system and make it harder to maintain a stable climate. So Plankton populations thrive in high nutrient environments and can become so dense that they block light from sun-dependent organisms like coral. When this algae bloom dies, the plankton sink and are broken down. The decay process depletes oxygen and adds nutrients, exacerbating changes in ocean chemistry and creating a challenging environment for marine life. And the increased ocean acidity reduces fish size and populations. Some fish grow slower and cannot reproduce as well. Others have more difficulty avoiding predators when this happens. There's also coastal acidification, and this is when nutrients entering the water from land exacerbates acidification in nearby shore waters. So concentrated nutrients from septic systems and fertilizer runoff into our oceans, carrying nitrogen and organic carbon that harm the marine ecosystem. If you're really into chemistry, this is actually some basic chemistry of how water, or H2O, plus carbon dioxide, CO2, become carbonic acid. And this depletes the carbonate in seawater. So if you take a look at this coral reef, for example, this is what it looked like before, and then what it looks like after. If you think about in 2013, the pH levels in the ocean were actually still at a pretty good level. And that was just in 2013. And now it's already starting to become worse and worse over time. Here's another picture of what the ocean looked like just a few years ago, what the coral reefs looked like, and this is what it looked like the more fossil fuels are being burned. And then take a look at also these x-rays of shells. The ocean acidification process affects the shellfish, corals, and other calcifiers, so things that rely on calcium as building blocks, are being affected the most. So with the ocean acidification, calcifier organisms must work harder to produce their shells, and as a result have less energy left to find food, to reproduce, or to defend against diseases or predators. As the ocean becomes more acidic, populations of some species could even go extinct. And the ocean acidification as an invisible catastrophe in the world, a lot of people haven't even heard of acidification before now, is affected a lot by human activity. So human activities such as industry, transport, home energy, and food production creates the carbon dioxide. And like I had mentioned before, around 2013, the pH levels of the ocean was at 8.1, which was still a healthy level. By 2100, the average pH in the oceans is expected to fall to 7.7. And this means that the acidity in the ocean would increase by 4 times in that short amount of time. And did you know that 80% of ocean communication is chemical? So when the pH of the ocean lowers, it disrupts messenger molecules. This means animals may struggle to communicate, find food, find a mate, or even detect predators. As the ocean pH drops, hydrogen ions react with carbonate ions. This affects calcifying organisms such as clams, oysters, and crustaceans, which use the carbonate ions to make their shells. Without this, they will struggle to grow properly. And like we had mentioned before, this graph also emphasizes how does this happen. The atmospheric CO2 dissolves into the seawater and reacts with it to form carbonic acid. Carbonic acid disintegrates and releases hydrogen, which increases the acidity of the water. And so how can we actually help this? How can we prevent this from happening, or at least slow it down? By reducing the amount of CO2 we reduce the amount ending up in the oceans. So some ways are to reduce, reuse, and recycle, to save energy in the home, like for example, being mindful of the lights, of electricity, of how much of the amount of laundry that we're doing, of the amount of times we're watering our grass. And also if we could walk and cycle more, we wouldn't have to produce so much fossil fuels. Other things we can do to help is to cut back on watering your lawn. or choose drought-tolerant landscaping to reduce runoffs into the ocean, reduce the use of fertilizers with high nitrogen and phosphorus concentrations, eat a plant-rich diet and buy local produce to reduce transportations and production emissions. Because actually, I love meat, but eating meat on a large scale actually produces a lot of the carbon dioxide, because all the farms that have all the cows and all the chickens and all those animals produce so much of the carbon dioxide. They use a lot of the fertilizer, produce a lot of the fertilizer, and also have to transport those animals and have to use a lot of energy in order to make those animals, in order to just produce all of the meat that we eat. Also reduce energy by choosing energy efficient appliances, and learn more about solar initiatives in your community. All right, Marielle, it's on you. Animal of the week.
Okay, guys, so today we're going to be looking at the Dumbo octopus. So at face value, you can definitely see that this creature is adorable. It's super tiny, and that's why personally I decided to talk about it, just because I thought it was a little adorable marine life creature, and I thought it'd be really exciting to learn a little bit more about it. So the Dumbo octopus. So the Dumbo octopus encompasses an entire species of deep umbrella octopus. There are about 15 known species of the Dumbo octopus. So just want to disclose that this is actually a relatively new species that was introduced. It was discovered back, I believe, in 1883. However, little is known about this creature. So we wanted to, again, just introduce it to our wonderful AquaGoat community. We wanted to introduce this little creature that I thought was really adorable. So the other fact was, like all umbrella octopuses, their arms are connected by a web of skin, allowing them to resemble umbrella-like shapes when swimming. So when they are swimming or maneuvering across the ocean waterways, they kind of look like these little umbrellas, as like a normal umbrella would look. And then from there, the way it moves off, it's not like a normal octopus. It doesn't just sloosh by. I don't know the exact word for it, but it's a little bit different. You can actually search up little videos on how they maneuver through the ocean. It's very unique to their species. Another fact is that the Dumbo octopus, again, also known as the Grimpo-tusis, I had to make sure I was pronouncing that correctly, so my apologies there, originally got its name due to its most prominent characteristic, its ears. So again, the Dumbo octopus is just known for, again, its ears, similar to the Disney movie Dumbo. They kind of named it after the creature. And if you guys do or do not know, Dumbo is this adorable baby elephant that has gigantic ears, and so they wanted to name it after for the Dumbo octopus. All right, so these ears are actually their fins, which allow them to crawl across the ocean floor and move in different directions. In doing so, they are able to conserve energy as opposed to the normal way any typical octopus would swim. So again, they're a little bit different, as they don't swim like normal octopuses do. They conserve energy by just kind of crawling on the ocean floor. And if they have to, they're able to swim away, again, with the umbrella shape. That's why they are the main characteristics of the animal, or specifically the Dumbo octopus. Another fact that I found was, although Dumbo octopuses grow to about 20 to 30 centimeters, about the size of a guinea pig, certain species of Dumbo octopuses can grow to over 5 feet long. So again, if you can picture a little guinea pig around the size of your hand, they're fairly large creatures, actually. They can get to about that size. The largest recorded one was, again, 5 feet long, which is incredible, so to speak, for something that is typically very tiny and very adorable. Another fact that I found is that Dumbo octopuses have scarce predators and scarce prey. Dumbo octopuses typically swallow their prey whole in one gulp. So again, not a lot of predators, but the unfortunate side is that they don't have a lot of prey. So when they do find their prey, they actually swallow them whole in one go. And when I was researching and learning about this octopus, I did see a couple of videos of the tiny little cute creature just going to the entire prey. So another fact, and the very last fact that I found, is that marine biologists still have yet to learn more about the Dumbo octopus. Ongoing research is still being held as we speak to learn more about these adorable and interesting cephalopods. So again, because this creature, there is little bit known about them. From my understanding and what I researched, is that they are still doing continuous research on these animals so they can get more information on how they affect the ecosystem of the ocean. So yeah, just to sum it up short, thank you guys so much for listening to my little bit, and thank you so much for listening to the seminar. Make sure, if you guys do get a chance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do these education seminars every week on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you guys so much again, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.